Assalamualaikum. We continue with tutorial question number 19. Okay, for this question, table 1 below shows the rate that is used to calculate the delivery cost based on distance code and weight. So first of all, you have to identify the control structure for this question. So what is the control structure for this question? So of course, this one is a selection. Why? Because here you have first condition and second condition. So the first condition here is you have to insert distance code, whether the distance code is 1 or 2, then followed by you have to enter the number of weight. So if the weight is under 5 kg, so you have to pay the delivery cost is 10 ringgit per kg. And also here the question had mentioned that based on distance code and weight, means that user need to input distance code and weight. So now here you have 4 possibilities, and the last statement here, okay, it said that if the input for distance code is other than the above, so the message wrong distance code will be displayed. So you have to identify the IPO. So now if let's say you entered the distance code other than 1 or 2, so it will display wrong distance code. Let's say you enter the distance code is 3 or 4, so it will display wrong distance code. So how to write the IPO? So first of all, you have to write the output. So what is the output? So here the output is delivery cost or what? Or wrong distance code. So now here you have to put double quote since this one is the message. So the message you have to put in double quote. So now this one, if you see here, this one doesn't have a double quote, means that this one is a value that will print for the delivery cost. Okay, now what is the input? So the input of course is distance code and weight. So you just write down distance code, and don't forget to write comma and weight. Okay, separated by comma. So how about the process? So the process is, so you start with the determine, since this one is the selection control structure. So what are you going to determine? Determine, right, delivery cost, or this one is a message. So if you put double quote, it understood that this one is a message from distance code. Based on what? So based on your input, that is distance code. Okay, distance code and weight. Right? So another way to write the process is, you can also write in this way. So you can write as determine whether the code is 1 or 2, then what are you going to calculate? So then calculate delivery cost based on weight. So otherwise display message. So you can also write the process as what I told just now. So next we go to question number 20. So question number 20 here, given a list of daily temperature for a certain number of days. Design an algorithm to determine the maximum temperature. So you have to find out the maximum temperature for a certain number of day. Okay, based on the daily temperature. So the first input is number of days. So you have to identify the output. Okay, now what is the control structure for this question? So the control structure is repetition. Okay, why? So why? First, the question, okay, said that the first input is number of day. First, you have to enter number of day first. let's say you just enter number of day is 5. Okay, for each of this day, so you have to enter the temperature. Okay, let's say day 1, so you have to enter the temperature is, let's say, 23.5. And then day 2, the temperature is, for example, is 40. So until day 5, and then at the end the program will display the maximum temperature for this number of day. Okay, among 5 days, so it will display the maximum temperature. Okay, let's have a look for this question, this program. So this one is a Java program. Okay, based on the question number 20. Okay, let's say here. Okay, I run the program. Okay, I run the program. Alright, here, so just enter, let's say, as I told you just now, let's say you enter here is 5. Okay, 5 days. So let's say you enter 5. Enter. Okay, now the first temperature for the day 1 is, let's say, 23.5. Okay, you enter, and then the second temperature, okay, for day 2 is 21. Okay, let's say you have 38 for the third day. Okay, and then let's say the fourth day is 17. Okay, and last one is 15. So once you press enter, then this is your maximum temperature, 38. Okay, based on the number of days that you enter here is 5 days. Let's say you enter 10, means that you have to enter the temperature for 10 days. Okay, that's why this one is a repetition, because it will repeat. Okay, the number of days is 5 times. Okay, next. So how to write the IPO for this question? Okay, now what is the output? What are you going to find? So of course this one is input, process, and output. So you are going to get maximum temperature. Actually, normally the output you just take from the question given. What is the question going to get to determine the maximum temperature? And what is your input? Okay, the question said that you have to insert first the number of day first. So you have to insert num day. Okay, number day. Okay, comma, separate by comma, and of course the temperature. Alright, so you have to enter the number of day, then only you enter the temperature. So how about the process? So calculate what? So calculate maximum temperature. Okay, based on what? So what is your input? Based on temperature and number of day. Okay, or num day. Okay, it will depends on the number of day that you enter. Okay, next for question number 21. Okay, first of all, you need to read the question first. Seaview Chalet provide 3 types of room accommodation. Table 1 shows the rate for each type of room. If the guest check in during the weekdays, so 10% will be given. A guest can make a reservation for more than one night. So what are the input required to calculate and display the amount that a guest has to pay for a room? So of course this one you have to identify the what first? The output. So what are we going to get? So what are we going to display? Okay, so of course this one here is input, so process and output. So of course this one is we are going to get display the amount. So amount pay by what? By a customer, okay, or guest. Okay, now this one, what is the control structure here? So of course this one is a selection control structure, right? Selection. Okay, why? Because here the question mentioned that, so you have to, okay, you can make a reservation for more than one night. Okay, for more than one night. And also here, okay, the question mentioned that, okay, rate for each type of room if the guest check in during the weekdays. Okay, means that the question did not mention that you have to book, okay, a superior deluxe room or a deluxe or standard. Okay, the question did not mention that you have to book all this room type. Okay, so that's why this a selection means that user or guest can enter only super deluxe or standard. Okay, let's say I choose, okay, I want to book for super deluxe for 5 night. Okay, that's why this one is a selection. Means that, let's say my room type is I entered S, so it will go to this one. Okay, room type S, and I enter, let's say for 5 night. So let's say 5 night, okay, for S, and then I have to pay how much? 1,500 ringgit. Right. And then another condition here is, okay, if you check in during weekdays, then 10% discount will be given. So you have two condition here. First is room type, condition 1, and second is condition 2. Okay, so you have to choose your room type first, then only you have to enter whether the day type is weekday or weekend, okay, to get the 10% discount. So now, how about the input? So of course, the input is room type, then what else? So day type, whether it is weekday or weekend, and last one is number of night. So this is the input, right? Okay, next, how to write the process. So what are you going to determine? Determine amount pay based on what? Based on room type, day type, and number of night. Okay, this is the easiest way to write the process. Okay, let's say you don't want to write in this way, so you can also write the process in this way. Okay, another option. Actually, in process for selection, you have so many ways to write the process. Okay, let's say you want to determine first. So determine what? So determine room type first. Okay, room type. Okay, then calculate what? So calculate amount pay, and if the type is weekdays, then you get how many percent of the discount? 10% discount will be given, right? Okay, actually this one is better lah. Okay, if you can write in this way, it is better. Okay, if not, you just write in this way for the process. Okay, this one is better lah. Actually, determine the room type first, then you calculate amount pay, and if the day type is weekdays, 10% discount will be given. So you have two conditions here. The first one is room type, and the second condition is day type. Right? Okay, next we move to question number 22. So you are asked to calculate the area of shaded area of two circles in figure 1. So this one is a figure 1. So list down the input, process and output of this problem. So what is the control structure for this one? So of course this one is a sequence. Why? Because you don't have condition here, and the question did not mention that you have to repeat for how many number of time. Okay, so now, so what is the output? So what are you going to get? So the output is, of course, you are going to get the shaded area. Okay, shaded area. Okay, if you want to write the output as area of shaded area of two circles, is also can, up to you. Okay, then what is your input? So of course the input is, okay, actually this one is only the IPO. So the input is, of course, R1 and R2. Okay, so you remember in IPO you don't have to write any formula. You only need to write the formula in the pseudocode, flowchart, and of course the coding. Right? So what are you going to calculate? So calculate shaded area based on what? What is your input? Is R1 and R2. Okay? Okay, that's all for question number 22. Okay, next we move to question number 23. Okay, first of all, of course, you need to read the question. Mr. Tan has a car rental business in Langkawi. The daily rental fee is calculated as follows. Customer will pay fee, okay, according to the size of car rented. Okay, small size, okay, is 50 ringgit. Okay, medium size of the car is 80 ringgit, and the large size of the car is 100 ringgit per what? Per day. Okay, and additional of 2 ringgit is charged for every kilometer driven. Okay, now you have to identify the input, process and output. Okay, first of all, you have to identify what is the control structure for this question. Is it sequence, selection or repetition? Okay, now actually this one is a selection control structure. Okay, why? Because you have the condition here, and the condition is size of car. Okay, means that here customer will pay fee according to the size of car rental. Let's say you want to rent for the small size of car, so you have to pay for 50 ringgit for 1 day. Okay, per day you have to pay for 50 ringgit. Let's say you rent for 2 days, means that you have to pay for 100 ringgit. So the condition here is, of course, the size of car. Okay, whether it is S, M or L. Okay, so now 50 ringgit, 80 ringgit and 100 ringgit. This one is a fixed value. You don't have to write in the input. Okay, fixed value and also constant, you don't have to write in the input. So now, what is your input actually? The input is per day here. Okay, day, number of day. Okay, so day. Then what else is your input? Of course, your input here is size car. Okay, or car size. Okay, car size. Okay, and then what else is your input? So your input here is kilometer, because in the question said that an additional of 2 ringgit is charged for every kilometer driven. So let's say you book for car size is S and number of day is 2, and let's say your kilometer driven is 100, so you just add lah. So 2 days time with 50 ringgit, and you add with 2 ringgit times with, let's say your kilometer driven is 100 kilometer. So this is the total that you have to pay. Okay, so actually in this question, the first input is supposed to be car size. Okay, right now how about the output? Okay, sorry, the output, actually you have to write the output first. Pay. Okay, next, what is your process? Determine what? Determine, okay, car size first. Then you have to calculate what? Then calculate pay the output the output with additional of 2 ringgit for every kilometer driven. Okay, actually if you want to write determine pay based on number, car size and every kilometer driven is also acceptable, right? Okay, next we move to question number 24. So each x and y coordinates are located either in quadrant 1, 2, 3 or 4. Table 1 can be used to determine the quadrant of given coordinates. As a result, the identified quadrant will be displayed. So you have to identify the IPO. Okay, what is the control structure for this question? So now, the control structure is selection. Why? Because actually you have two conditions here. So what is the first condition? Is y coordinate and x. Let's say if your y coordinate is greater than or equal to 0, and your x coordinate is greater than or equal to 0, then it will display the quadrant 1. Okay, actually here you have 4 possibility with the two condition. So the first condition is y and x. Okay, based on what? Based on this figure. Okay, now, so what is your input, process and output? Okay, what are you going to display? Okay, you only want to display either it is 1, 2, 3 or 4. So you just write down this one is a message, or 2, 4. You have to put in double quote, because in this question it doesn't involve any calculation. Means that let's say your y coordinate is 3, okay, 3, and your x coordinate is 3 also, it will display I in Roman. Okay, I in Roman. Okay, it not involve any calculation. So it just want you to display the quadrant that is I Roman. So what is your input? So of course your input is x and y, or you can also write as y coordinate or x coordinate, comma, and y coordinate. Okay, must be separated by comma. So what are you going to determine? Since this one is the selection, determine. Okay, so you can write determine the quadrant. Understood that in this question, okay, quadrant here means that it is 1, 2, 3 or IV. Okay, if you want to determine, let's say you want to write in full sentence, determine double quote 1 or 2 or 3 or IV based on x and y coordinate is also can. Okay, here I just write in as quadrant. Okay, determine quadrant. Understood it is a 1, 2, 3 or 4 Roman. Okay, based on x and y. Okay, or x and y coordinate is also acceptable. Okay, in process you can write as n. Okay, next. For question number 25, okay, actually this question is quite different. Okay, so the question asks you to state the input required by the system. Okay, so what is the input? Of course here the input is item, or the input could be quantity. Okay, quantity. Okay, means that the system required the item and also the quantity. Okay, next. Beside the item, unit price, quantity, date and time, state the other output produced by the system. What is the output? So of course the output is price. Okay, other than mentioned in the question. So price, what else do you have for the output? Of course you have a GST. Okay, GST here. Then what else do you have? So you have the output as subtotal, and last one you have the output as total here. Okay, this one total. Okay, total. Okay, next. State two of processes involved to produce the above output. So you have to state the process. So actually you have to state the process. So what is the process? Of course, you have to calculate what? Calculate price based on quantity. Means that you have to calculate the price based on quantity. And then second process. So what is the second process? So the second process is to calculate what? So second process is you have to calculate subtotal based on what? Based on, of course, total. Okay, calculate subtotal based on, not based on total. Calculate subtotal based on price. Okay, based on price. Based on price here. Okay, so you will get the subtotal based on price. Okay, you have to add up all the price. Okay, next. Question number 27. Identify the input, process and output to calculate the price of a cup of coffee sold at my Kopitiam Cafe. The price is based on number of scoop of espresso coffee, sugar syrup and milk. The prices of espresso coffee, sugar syrup and milk are RM5, RM3 and 20 cents per scoop respectively. Okay, now what is the control structure for this question? Is it selection? Is it sequence or repetition? Of course, the question here, okay, is sequence. Why sequence? Because the question mentioned that the price is based on number of scoop of espresso, coffee, sugar syrup and milk. Okay, and then the price of espresso coffee, sugar syrup, okay, and this one lah, this is the price. So now, so the question, okay, you have to identify the input, process and output. So what is your output? So the output is you are going to get the what? The price of a cup of coffee. Okay, so you are going to get the price of a cup of coffee. It's up to you. Okay, now the question said that the price is based on number of scoop here. So of course, okay, the input is scoop, sugar, scoop, syrup, and scope milk. Okay, scope milk. So what is the difference, okay, between the cup of price from one customer to another customer? Of course, based on the number of scope here. Okay, as I told you before, if this one you see the 5 ringgit, 3 ringgit and 20 cents, this one is a fixed value. You don't have to write in the input. What is the difference between the customer for the cup of a coffee price? Is the number of scope. Number of scope for what? For sugar, syrup and milk. That's why you have to write scope sugar, scope syrup or scope milk. Okay, let's say you want to write in full sentence. Number of scope sugar, comma, number of scope syrup, comma, and number of scope milk is better. Okay. Okay, next. What is your process? So the process is, so we have to calculate what? Calculate. So calculate cup price based on scope sugar, comma, scope syrup and scope milk. Okay, this is the answer for the process. Okay, that's all.